So hi guys, I'm Tim Roberts, your instructor for the history of rock and roll since 1970. This is either a music class, Music 125, or it's a history class, 143. This is a quickie little tutorial to give you an idea of how to get around in this class, how it works, how to pop from one program to the other to make your way through the curriculum in the course of the semester. Okay? So you will need internet access. Obviously, you're watching this video, you have internet access. But here's how the class will work. Let me take you to the Blackboard site for our class. So here's the history of rock and roll. These are your student learning outcomes. This is what we'll try to get accomplished this semester. Here's how it will work. Here's the syllabus. Please click on this. This brings you up to what we're going to be planning for each day. Each class has a target, a bunch of things that we're going to accomplish as far as the curriculum and the lecture is concerned. And this column, on the other hand, please pay close attention to this. This is where your book lives. This is your readings. This is the text. The text is online at www.allmusic.com. Allmusic.com or All Music Guides have been around for 15 years or so as a great reference point for rock and roll and blues and classical reference points of historical things and of criticism. This is the text we'll be using. So here's how it basically will work. On Wednesday, the 25th of January, we'll be talking about background stuff. You need to read The Birth of Rock and Roll, Acoustic Blues, and Electric Blues in its relation to rock. These are 3 essays that live at allmusic.com. And in class, we'll be talking about Woodstock, Little Richard, Chuck Berry, some other things. But at AllMusic, this is how this is going to work. So once again, on this date, we'll be talking about these subjects. I need these readings to be done on AllMusic. Here's AllMusic. If you pop over to this world, this is allmusic.com. Now important, pay close attention to this. Under the pop rock subgenre link, click this. Under pop rock, there's a lot of really interesting stuff running around down here that'll be great, but this is not something we want to do for our class. Go past this. If you have free time, click on some of these links, but it'll lead you down sort of an Alice in Wonderland rabbit hole that you may take hours to get out of this. So hold off on this for a while. Read this at your leisure. But way at the bottom, finally, past all this cool junk, there's a bunch of essays about rock music. We're not going to read all of these. Don't worry. But this is our book. So once again, remind yourselves, I want to read The Birth of Rock and Roll. Awesome. I'm going to read this article called Birth of Rock and Roll. Great. I click on that link. It takes me to a really cool article about the birth of rock and roll. Now, there are a lot of links in here as well that can take you to more specific and more detailed information about certain subjects. But for our purposes right now, read this thing. If you want to follow up on these recordings, these guys would love to sell you a recording of these tunes. You may have noticed that a lot of the stuff is, a lot of the recordings are available on allmusic.com for free anyway. But anyway, you've done your reading, all right? When you're finished with the reading, you have to take a test on that reading curriculum, on that reading content. So once again, remind you, you found the reading at AllMusic, you did the reading. Now, you come back to Blackboard. In Blackboard, there is an assessment, that is to say, a test on each one of these readings. So now there is a matching quiz to go with the reading you just did. Now notice you guys, that was under assessments. So now you go to The Birth of Rock and Roll and you would take this quiz. It's timed and it's a multiple choice question, and it makes sure that I know that you read that article and you are now responsible for its content. That's the basic idea. Also in this class, I want to make sure you understand what the grading scheme on it is. To blow this up a little bit so you see a little bit more what's going on, there are roughly 550 or 552 or so points. That's going to be made up of your Blackboard quizzes and some weekly quizzes on the content that I give you in class. By the way, what I talk about in class is not the same as what's online. It is above and beyond what you do. So you're going to have both of these sort of sources for content. Online discussions, there's a presentation at the end, some point in the semester where you guys are going to give me an in-person presentation on bands. There's a term paper at the end, and there's a big final at the end. All this material here, the specifics of what's expected of you in the course of the semester, including your SLOs again, live on the homepage. There's also some other great reference things that are going to be of use to us in the course of this semester, but that all lives on Blackboard. Okay? So you got it? One more time. Here's my syllabus. Okay? I know what's going on. There's that syllabus that tells me what is expected in each day's lecture as well as the readings for each day. And then there's this other page that lets me know in the big picture what my points are going to be worth. And by the way, you guys, a caveat, these points might change as we come up with new ideas, as new things come up in current events. We might find other assignments to have you guys gain points on. But it's all run off of this Blackboard site, so get real comfy with this thing. Make sure you mark with a bookmark how to get to this site, because everything's going to be coming off of this. Got the basic idea? Okay, so I hope this was helpful to you guys and it'll give you a good start. In the meantime, come to class. I can answer any class or questions that you have about your specific situation in class. Good luck. See you online.